All right. So, welcome. Let's get started here. So, I don't see anyone who's quite joined us yet, but you're welcome to join us. Start chatting in the chat window anytime. You'll also notice in the chat window there's the phone number you can call in at. We'll be calling in, talk to you. So, let's see. While we are waiting to see if anyone is interested in coming along, hopefully, I believe it was Katie who was here last night, but I missed her. I was on the wrong stream. Hopefully I'm on the right stream now. Actually, you know what? I'm going to check that real quick. Alright, so I'm going to go to the COVID-19 support subreddit. I'm going to see if I can find my post. There we go. No, didn't get upvoted at all this time. Okay, well. Alright. See if that takes us to the right place. No. Why am I not here? What is going on here? Wait, no? Okay. Oh, alright. I guess this is the right place. Okay, alright. So that is working. Good. Alright, so we're all live, everything's up and rolling. We are on the right channel there. Let me get this. Pull up the proper subreddit here. While I'm doing this, we're going to talk a little bit about, well, we're going to take a little bit of a, I'm going to take a little bit of a time to talk about what is going on, where the current state of things is, let's see, there we go, that's what I'm looking for, and see how things stand. So, in the last 48 hours in the United States of America, let's go ahead and I'll just pull this up so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Alright. In the United States of America, we are currently looking at 6.5 million new cases, or 6.5 million cases so far. New cases reported in the last 24 hours, or since yesterday, is 39,184. That's a fairly high number. And we also have almost 700 people who died yesterday. We can see how it's trending. It's kind of trending downward currently in the US. That is certainly nice to see, but overall it's still not the greatest. This is cases over time. This is new cases per day. And so we have fewer new cases today than yesterday. That's a good thing. And overall, we are sort of trending downward. You know, as crazy as it is out there, you know, there was only so bad that it could get on some level. So, let's talk a little bit about, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about a conversation I had with a friend of mine this morning. And so, she is in a living situation where she's got roommates who are not really quarantining. They are just sort of out there. They are not disbelievers, but they're like, oh yeah, I'm not really that worried about it, kind of thing. And she is taking the quarantine very seriously. And so I was, you know, not thinking of this at first. I was just telling her, oh, well, you know, just you know, pretend that everything outside the front door is, you know, just, you know, another world that, you know, you're not going to bother with for a while. It doesn't really need to be something that, you know, concerns you. So, okay, fine. But then she pointed out that for her, with that roommate situation, is literally not the front door, it is her bedroom door, and that she is not feeling safe leaving her room. And that is, you know, that is really unfortunate. She was doing laundry this morning and left some clothes in the dryer, and they took the clothes out of the dryer for her, and they were, all, they were touching her stuff, and I mean, I understand that concern. So what she what I pointed out was that I think that COVID dies at a fairly low temperature. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what it says. Does heat kill the coronavirus? Heat at 56 degrees kills the SARS coronavirus at 10,000 units per 15 minutes. Quick reduction. Okay, so I do not actually understand what the 10,000 units at 15 minutes per 15 minutes means. That is something a little more out of my scientific realm, but that does at least answer a question. Okay, so 56 degrees Celsius. All right. Hold on, though. I hate to say it, guys. Fair number of you are probably from somewhere else in the world, or hopefully some of you from somewhere else in the world, but I'm an American. I do not know off the top of my head what 56 degrees Celsius means, so I have to look it up. That tells me that it is 132 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, much better. Now, 132 degrees Fahrenheit... okay, not to bring apocalypses together or anything, but isn't that almost how hot California is getting in some places? I mean, it almost sounds like it's almost hot enough in California that the coronavirus cannot live. Now, I mean, honestly, I don't think that's a good thing, because I think if the coronavirus can't live, humans are going to have a problem too. But that certainly is interesting, because I think I've been hearing about Death Valley hitting 121 and stuff like that. That is just insane. Okay, so 132 degrees. All right, so the next question that is relevant here is, how hot does a clothes dryer get? Aha, so 125 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's not a clear definitive answer. So I need to say sorry to my friend that I apparently was a little bit incorrect about this. So we need a temperature of, let me go back to this, 132.8 degrees. And a clothes dryer goes 132 to 135 degrees. Well, I'm going to say this. If you've got a good clothes dryer and you put it on high, then it should be enough. That should take care of that. I hope. So it wouldn't hurt, if you're really going to be trying to do that on a regular basis, to have some kind of thermometer that you can use for that. I'm not really sure what the best way to test that temperature with a thermometer would be, but I'm sure that you can come up with something creative. But so anyway, that is the nature of that situation. All right, let's take a look. Let's go back here. Oh, apparently it was not showing you what I was looking at. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so, all right, let's back up for just a moment here. Let's see if anybody's popped up in the chat yet. Nope. Okay, so, taking a look at our cases here. All right, so plus 39,148 cases, 698 people who died yesterday. New cases over the last 14 days right here. It's going down-ish. I feel like, that's a snapshot for 14 days just to kind of give you, I don't know, keep it from looking as horrendous as it could. Here's last 60 days trending. You can see the trend line for the United States versus worldwide, which is, honestly, it could be worse. Okay, so, and then cases over time. So cases yesterday, we had 47 new thousand cases, and today we had 39,000 new cases, so it's getting somewhat better. All right. This also shows you how testing is going. I think that's pretty useful as well. And this I don't quite understand. This apparently means that we are moving around less, which is, makes sense. But we certainly are moving around more. What is this? What day is this? Oh, 4th of July. That doesn't count. That's a holiday. Okay, so Now, as I say, let's take a look at these numbers real quick. This is the stuff that I was talking about before. Okay, so does heat kill the coronavirus? Boom. Okay, heat at 56 degrees kills the SARS coronavirus at about 100,000 units per 15 minutes. Okay, good enough. And then the conversion of 56 degrees, for those of us Americans, 132.8, and that's Google telling us how hot an average clothes dryer gets. Again, I would recommend, if you're going to be trying this, go ahead, grab yourself a thermometer and do it that way. Okay, let's get back over to here, and we'll make me big again. Ah, it's software that embiggens the smallest man. Sorry, I had a Simpsons moment. Okay, so let's see. All right. So let's take a look real quick at what's going on the COVID-19 support subreddit. So, Rando at the park yelled at my walking club to take off our masks and breathe fresh air. Okay, so let's play a game. Let's guess where this is. Okay, I'm going to guess, obviously, first of all, the United States. So what do we think? Do we think this is going to be one of the obvious places like Texas or Florida? Or do we think this is maybe going to be, I don't know, Midwest? I don't know. I'm going to go with Kansas. I don't know why. I'm just like Kansas. New Jersey. Ooh, I was way off. Okay. First walk in 6 months. Everyone wore masks. A good number of the group are senior citizens. Go figure that they're a high-risk group. So yeah, of course. And yes. A guy on a bicycle started yelling us to take off our masks. Oh well. So it was sorry guys, I know how that goes. We all have those days. This got a lot of comments. So, you know. So this is one of those. This is one of the nice things about the support is that we get together, we get to say, look, oh my God, I'm sick of dealing with these idiots. So yeah, that's a lot of that. Oh yeah, and people get upset when you put on a mask when they get near you and that kind of thing. Absolutely, I wear a mask at work. And I have people tell me the same thing, oh, you should take your mask off. Oh, so on and so forth, And then people tell me, people say, oh, well, you don't have to put on your mask for me. And I'm like, actually, I prefer to wear a mask. It makes, I actually have a fair amount of smoke sometimes where I'm working, usually when I'm working. So it's not a bad idea to have a mask in the first place. I actually had a coworker who had quit working for a little while until, the coronavirus came around, and he's wearing a mask, and he's like, oh, hey, this is actually helping. Okay, so let's see. So people are worried about having it. There's the whole thing of, what's a coronavirus symptoms, what's not a coronavirus symptoms. Okay, so let's actually do a little Googling again. Coronavirus versus cold symptoms. All right. Okay, so let's see what this one says. This should be interesting. This is their featured snippet from Advent Health. I don't know how I feel about Advent Health. I'm probably also going to try Harvard. Let's try Harvard first. I don't know why I'm snooty. I feel like an educational institution instead of an HMO might be the place that I want to go first. Okay, so key symptoms. So biggest thing, of course, is the fever, cough, and shortness of breath. That's one of the things that's critical that's different about about any of the others. Now, fatigue, loss of appetite, that kind of loss of taste and smell thing. And I mean, I'm sure we've all been through the list of, the list of them. But here's the thing to remember, okay? The main ones are fever, cough, shortness of breath. If you're not having that trio, it's probably, it's less likely to be coronavirus. Now, you can also have a number of symptoms that are consistent with allergies. The Harvard points out, and that's absolutely true. So, be aware of like the kind of congestion, itchy nose. It's that, and that kind of thing can be sometimes causing a bit of shortness of breath. Think about the kinds of things you have that are versus allergies versus something that is unusual, and that can be hard sometimes, especially if you're younger and you haven't had a whole lot of experience with it. So another one to remember is that sneezing, interestingly enough, is not a typical symptom of COVID. It usually means allergies, things like that. I remember when it first was happening, I would like take anybody would sneeze and be like, "Get away from me," And now I'm like, okay, well, I would appreciate if you don't spread that stuff everywhere, however you're doing it, because I mean, if they're sneezing because of allergies and they've got COVID, now they're spreading COVID little fomates everywhere. It's like, fomates is such a weird word. Okay. So, and then also take a look at your symptoms of the common cold, which are runny, congested nose, sore throat, headache, fever, sort of. Okay, and here's the difference. There's a difference between the fatigue and the kind of achiness that you sometimes get that can come with a cold. It's more of a flu kind of thing for me, and I guess that's true overall. So flu symptoms are going to be fever, chills, muscle aches. That's that thing. Now, muscle aches is not the same as fatigue. Remember, so. All right, nobody's here yet. All right. So, now the thing is that there are a lot of. Let me pull up this chart here. That looks like that could be interesting. Oh my goodness, it's a PDF. Okay, all right. I'm actually going to put this up on the screen here. Share it all with you. We can kind of go over this for a minute. Okay. So there we go. Now what does this look like? Well, let's do this real quick. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so let's go over these, because this actually seems kind of important. Alright, so if you have a fever, then it very easily could be COVID or the flu. Common cold sometimes has them. If you have a cough, it could be COVID-19 or the flu or a cold. That's not helpful. Everything's a cough. Shortness of breath. Here's the thing. Shortness of breath, take a look at this one right here, okay? That's not highlighting the way I want it to. Only appears as a common symptom of COVID-19. It's not an uncommon, it's not a sometimes symptom of allergies, influenza. It is very specific to that. Now, if you have muscle aches, they are common. Okay, so I guess the muscle aches, that kind of fatigue, is common to COVID-19 as well as influenza, but not so much the cold. Sore throat, again, COVID and the flu both do it. Diarrhea is a sometimes thing with COVID. Did not know that. That doesn't sound pleasant. So let's see. What are the ones that are specific to COVID? So really the shortness of breath one is really the main one that you need to be looking out for. If that's the kind of thing that you're starting to have happen, obviously take a look at that. So just remember that you're gonna want to see a doctor. And again, one of the big issues with all of this is that we might be like, oh hey, I'm not feeling so great, I'm going to go get tested. But these tests are taking a while to come back most of the time. Unless you're a place where you can get a rapid test, then you might be better off simply talking to a doctor. So, okay, so this one's kind of along up my alley. Paranoia about public locations and touching surfaces. College student attends classes on campus. Everybody's fairly safe, that kind of thing. So, oh, okay. So this is actually very good. The moderator for this subreddit posted a very good link to the Wellness Variety Coronavirus Anxiety Coronavirus Anxiety Workbook. That's something which I think is probably something that. Let's see. There's an English edition. There's English, Irish resources. I love that. Spanish, German, Dutch, Turkish, Korean, and Chinese. Okay, very cool. All right, so we're going to take a real quick look at the Coronavirus Anxiety Workbook. Okay, is this coming up? There we go. Alright, so let's see what this has to say. A tool to help you build resilience during difficult times. You know, we could all use a little bit of that. Uncopyrighted, please feel free to share it on your website with an attribution and a link to your website. Okay, wonderful. So, should be okay showing this. So, planning your information diet. My spheres of influence worksheet. Practical wisdom for tolerating uncertainty. Reducing anxiety with thought challenging. That's a very good one. That's one that I do. Reducing anxiety with thought challenging. This is the kind of thing where you go, wait, okay, hold on. Yes, I'm thinking that this horrible thing is going to happen, but really seriously, is that a thing that is that a thought that is, just one that's going to freak me out, or is it one that is a reasonable concern? Let's see. So, reduce anxiety through distraction activities. That's another good one. Starting a planning practice. Okay, I'm curious about that. Starting a daily gratitude practice. Oh, I see. Starting planning practice. Okay, gotcha. Starting a daily breathing practice. Okay, these are all actually quite good. Improving the quality of your social connections. Aha! That's actually a very powerful one. I'm gonna talk about this more quite a bit throughout some of these visits here, but that building your support network is very, very important. Developing a regular exercise routine, creating your stress resilience action plan, and further resources. I'm going to say this. If you can do these things during COVID-19, hey, you know what? This could be your self-improvement plan. Because, if you can do these things during this time and get better, then wow. Because this is impressive. This is some stuff that, honestly is hard to do when the world isn't exploding. All right. So a little bit of introduction here. What is stress and anxiety? We'll go through that later. I haven't had a chance to read any of this. Signs of auto stress. Okay, so yeah, stuff where you're not really aware that you're feeling it. Anxiety. Threat scanning. Catastrophizing. This is the thing that I was talking about before. When your mind jumps to worst case scenarios, making a mountain out of a molehill. Your chest feels tightness and your mind tells you they have coronavirus and you can't breathe and your life is in danger. Yeah, okay, I sound like that. I'm not trying to, because honestly, I have been there so many times myself. Yeah, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm making light of it. I'm only making light of it because it's hard for me to think about because I do the same thing sometimes. Your mind gives you a mental image of losing all the people you love. Yeah, that one right there. Boom. Boom. Yeah, that one scares me a lot. Okay, so hypothetical worry, emotional reasoning. Yes, thinking with your emotions. Fortune telling. Yes, I'm going to be stuck inside for months on end. Yeah, okay, I see that. All right, it's not bad. Tools to manage anxiety. My information diet. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's actually see what this says. The media is fully aware that our brains are built to fixate on threat, uncertainty, and negativity, and they capitalize on it. Most news sources are negatively biased, sensationalist, and speculative in order to win your attention. Okay, well, this is stuff that, hopefully we know, but good to remind you that it's not necessarily your best source of information. Anxiety is easily fueled by consuming this kind of information. To reduce anxiety, it's important to be aware of and take control over your information diet. And then it has a place to write down what you're using for your information diet. Now, I cannot tell you what is the best information diet there is. I will tell you this, that sticking to, regardless of what's going on, regardless of we're talking about coronavirus or whatever, stick to primary sources. If you have the ability to understand scientific journals and that kind of thing, or at least just the abstracts from scientific journals, like, this is, the little intro they have, read those. If you can read stuff from, the places where things are actually coming from, that's the most useful, but also don't spend all of your time digging. Your information diet, quite honestly, probably should be pretty thin. I know it's there's something dangerous outside, and we need information about it, and we need to know what's going on, and we need to know when we can go back to living our lives again. The problem is that is the kind of thing that we do when we can have an immediate answer, and this one doesn't. This is one where we just kind of got to be zen about it. You got to be like, okay, this is an answer which I don't know we're going to have for how long. So I just simply accept the state of how things are. And if you can, that's not the easiest thing to do, but if you can, then that's a way of not constantly having to feed that, oh my god, what's the latest news? You see me, I'm doing this, but I literally have to come up here and look at this page here to see what is going on, because I check in once a day on this kind of thing, because if I'm doing it all day long, I'm a mess, and this is one of those things that is huge. It's moving slowly enough that really you don't need more than one information on this more than once a day. It's nice to be able to, visit Reddit and, find out the new information. Let me, I'm actually not going to pull this up live. I'm going to put up my little thing here, but let's actually take a quick look and see what is on Reddit right now for COVID information. Maybe there's something good. Maybe there isn't. Okay, so I'm going to say this. If you don't know, and again, just because, maybe you have already chosen to slim down your information diet, it appears that there's an antibody study in Austin, Texas, that is looking for participants. So it's Babson Diagnostics. Don't know anything about them. This is not a endorsement of them by any means. But they do have some email to connect, and they are looking to recruit Austin area adults who suspect they may have had COVID-19 and would like to know their current antibody status. So that's kind of handy. So might be some free tests. Looks like you also get a $60 gift card for a pharmacy, and it takes about 30 minutes as a one-time visit. So that's a good thing. Now this is one that I'm okay. Take this with a grain of salt, because this is first. I'm going to read the title of this, okay, first, and then I'm going to and then I'm going to point out why I'm like, okay, let's just back up here for a moment. Okay, so this is an article from the Telegraph. It says, face masks could be giving people COVID-19 immunity, researchers suggest. Mask wearing might also be reducing the severity of the virus and ensuring that a greater proportion of new infections are asymptomatic. So, That is actually not a bad thing. On the other hand, there are some very important words that need to be pointed out here. They could be, the researchers are suggesting it, and it might be reducing the severity of things. So, in other words, they don't know. They hope. There's some numbers that indicate that this might be true, but don't bet on any of this. Okay. So I'm going to read just a little bit of this real quick. Face masks may be inadvertently giving people COVID-19 immunity and making them less sick from the virus. So the New England Journal of Medicine advances an unproven but promising theory that universal face mask wearing might be helping to reduce the severity. Let's see. So what they're saying is that universal mask wearing could be a form of inoculation that would generate immunity and slow the spread of the virus in the United States as elsewhere. So what this is saying is that the evidence shows that the amount of virus you're exposed to at the start of the infection, what is referred to as the infectious dose, may be linked, now this is interesting, I did not know this, may be linked to the severity of your illness. So if you get a big dose of COVID, all right, and you catch COVID, then it's going to be harsh. But if it's only a little bit of virus, then you just get a little bit of COVID. This is weird. At least this is weird to me. This is not the way I think of germs, viruses, things like this normally working, but this may be true. So there's a large study published in a medical journal last month that found viral load diagnosis was an independent predictor of mortality. So what they're saying is that if you had a high viral load when you were diagnosed with COVID, then you didn't have a good chance. But if you had a low viral load when you're diagnosed, then yeah. So wearing masks should therefore reduce the infectious dose that the wearer is exposed to, and subsequently the impact of the disease, as masks filter out some virus-containing droplets. So here's the short version. This is weird, okay? But if you wear a mask regularly, and we all know that, we're wearing the masks for a few reasons, not necessarily protect ourselves. I mean, we're talking more about protecting ourselves because we've discovered that they do protect us some. But, initially it was because, well, we're protecting everyone else. We're protecting all the people we love in our lives. But now, as it turns out, us doing that for the people we love in our lives may have protected us as well. It may have made it so that we only got a little bit of it, and it was enough so that we vaccinated ourselves, basically. So, I mean, it's, I'm going to say, it's a good thing. I'm glad that people who have the heart to do the right thing are protected now. So, all right. So that's another thing off the coronavirus subreddit, is that there apparently is some immunity that you can get from from wearing a face mask, and that you may inoculate yourself. That is wonderful. Let's see. Boop, boop. Excuse me. There really doesn't seem to be much else that is okay. So I think that's most of the stuff that isn't so holy cow going on. All right, so I'm going to go back to the Wellness Society's Coronavirus Anxiety Workbook here. Let's go ahead so we can see that a little bit better. Okay. So, all right. So, remember the facts, usually mild symptoms, Coronavirus is very fatal and in a small percentage of cases, 2 to 3%. Wash your hands, etc. Use alcohol sanitizer, 6 feet of distance, all of these things. Now these are important things. Oh, here we go. Here's a list of credible news sources. This one does seem perhaps to be British. We've got gov.uk, BBC News, The Economist, CDC.gov, and World Health Organization. For us, I'd really recommend CDC.gov. Several uplisting news sources. I'll check those out later. Good news newsletters. Good. Okay. Not just going to randomly click on those. Some of those might be doing other things. Now, so this is spheres of influence. Now, this is something that I haven't heard it phrased this way before, but this is, so here we've got within my control and outside my control. And I'm going to say this is a little bit like the Serenity Prayer, which is, never did go to those. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So here's the thing. You've got things that you cannot change, that's outside your control. You've got things that you can change, there are things in your control. So yeah, hopefully you can change the things that are within your control. So let's go about things that are outside your control. Other people's decisions. Okay, I make that face because I still occasionally get really upset and vocal when people aren't wearing masks. Not quite ready to talk about it, but I've kind of been upsetting to people sometimes. Let's just say that. So other things you can't control. You can't control other people's health. Certainly not. You can't control the news. You can control what you're watching. That's on this other side over here, information diet. You can't control what the government is doing. Strictly speaking, in this moment, no, you really can't. You can't control whether or not the schools are opening or closing. You can, deal with it, control how you respond to it. You can't control the state of the healthcare system. Wow, this is that kind of stings a little bit. I do wish we could. And I'm going to bring up Keith Pace again, and I'm just going to say that if Keith Pace were here, he would be pointing out that maybe there were certain candidates that could have helped us with the state of the healthcare system. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And love you, Keith. All right. So other things you can't control. Flights and holidays being canceled. Nope. Can't control that. Can't control traffic. Can't control public transport. Can't control aging. Tell me about it. Oh. Can't control the weather. All right. So, and the point is that those are things that aren't worth being angry about. And you saw me there. That first one, other people's decisions. No, I can't be angry about those. It's a waste of my energy to do so. So, and it's a waste of my energy to worry about it. So don't worry about it. Don't be, I mean, if you have to feel something about it, I would recommend feeling angry instead of worried. But don't feel too much of any of it, because it's things that, again, are outside of your control. They're things you can't change. So accept it. But then, there are things you can change, okay? So this is some good stuff. Building resilience. Okay, fancy words for saying just getting tougher. Oh. I get to quote one of my favorite bad quotes, because at the moment I can't remember where it comes from, and I only remember it from the opening titles of Conan, which is something along the lines, I think it's like Nietzsche or something like that, but that which does not kill you makes you stronger. Okay, so maybe not the best thing to be saying right now, because unfortunately this is killing a fair number of people, but you can build resilience. It doesn't have to destroy you emotionally. It doesn't have to destroy you physically. It doesn't have to destroy your health. If you build that resilience, you can definitely come out stronger emotionally than you started off in here. So other things you can do, you can follow the latest information advice. Okay, always good stuff. So keep on top of that. Another one, focus on what's important. Now, this is in fact, oh my goodness, if you, again, some of the, like I said before, some of this, if you can do this now during coronavirus and learn how to do it now, and you can keep doing this, this is, wow, just mind-blowingly awesome, mind-changing if you can do these kinds of things. So I certainly would recommend it if you can pull it off. And that would be focusing on what's important to you. And that is really, I mean, it's hard. It's so easy to be distracted by, maybe other people's needs, and think that, I mean, you take care of that if they need to be taken care of, but don't mistake their needs for yours. Focus on, taking care of yourself, feed the good, be the good part in you. So other things you can control. You can control your information diet. That's what I was talking about before. You can't control the news. You control what kind of news you take and when you take it and what kind of state of mind you are in, okay? Don't just pick up the news at any random time. Do it at a time where you're rested and you're fed and you're not just stressed out, okay? So definitely also think about not just what you're taking in for information, but also your state of mind when you're taking that in. So another one that you can control is your own personal routine. I'm personally not one of those people who is real big on routine. It just has never served me well, but for others, it really can be incredibly helpful. And if you're one of those people who routine helps, even just a little bit, follow that thread. Keep doing that. If you can find a way to make, give. I mean, if you're stuck at home and there's nothing going on, your routine can give your life that structure that it was otherwise missing. And I'm sure I sound like a parent. I sound like my parents. But anyway, yeah, but a routine definitely can help. Another thing is relax. Okay? Relax, learn how to relax. No, but I mean, seriously, don't spend all of your time stressing out about that. If you and if you have to be in a situation where you have to force yourself to relax, force yourself to relax. Put away all other distractions. Do whatever it is you need to do to keep it so that things are not coming in and stressing you out. Put in your favorite movie. It doesn't matter, like if you're one of those people who've got a favorite movie you've seen 100 times, put in that movie. Okay? Relax. Spend some time. Okay, next one, cultivating connection. This is that thing that I was talking about building your support network. So I was talking about this last night. I'm going to talk about it again. Go through your phone, okay? Go through your old contacts. Go, oh, wow, or people who, your old Facebook friends. Get a hold of them. It's coronavirus. It's weird right now, okay? Some of these people aren't talking to anybody right now, and they'd love to hear from you. Other people are like, oh yeah, sure, I mean, heck, why not? Because everything is weird right now, it's not weird to get a hold of those people. Get a hold of them. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow, because tomorrow is actually my first day off in a while. So, thank goodness. But yeah, so do that. Cultivate connection. Bring more of the people into your life. And, some of these are not going to be the most positive people. Don't always reach out to the people who are going to be bad for you. But also remember that some of these are going to be cases where you can kind of just reevaluate the whole thing. Are you still upset about it? Are you the same person who would get upset about it in the same way? Take some time. Think about, is that bridge really burnt? If it is, fine. But, if it's burnt, no harm in trying. If it remains burnt, it's just as burnt as it was before. Alright, so other things. Eating well. Now this again is a little bit like having a routine, but then the next one down is exercising. So these are all important things. These are ones where if you can eat well, if you can exercise, it will make you feel better. And again, I'm going to say this, if you can do these things during coronavirus and you can learn these as habits, you are going to be in a fantastic place when all of this is over. So seeking and offering support. Okay, yes, absolutely. You are here. That is seeking support. You should also, if you get a chance, and let's see, I don't think there's anybody chatting yet, but, come in, join the chat. If there's somebody in the chat who has something to say, offer to support them as well. Okay, oh, and the last thing, all right, we can't control the government actions, right? But you know what we can do about that? We can vote. We have activism, okay? Those are things that can make a difference. And you know, I really feel like this last one here, and I'm going to kind of digress here for a moment. I feel like this has something to do with why Black Lives Matter ended up being such a huge thing, is because it is something that is in our control. You know, we can go out and we can say this is something that is not right. And there's any number of ways of protesting, and that activism for Black Lives Matter, I think, is probably really important. All right, so a lot of it is learning how to tolerate uncertainty, and this is something which I think for me, this is probably why I'm doing okay with all of this, is that chaos is one of those things that it happens, and it's, well, okay, what's the old, I think one of the things that first changed my mind about it, and I don't know, and I think this is probably not as true as it is, but the Chinese character for crisis is the same as the Chinese character for opportunity. And, you know, that means to me that when things are changing, there is a chance to grow. There's a chance to go, you know, like, and when things are changing, to go and, you know, make new friends, to make new connections, to find a new place for yourself in this new order. So, people who experience anxiety have been shown to have a low tolerance for uncertainty. It's worth reminding ourselves that uncertainty is an inescapable part of life, and the sooner we become more comfortable with it, the sooner we can reduce mental suffering. Okay, you know, yes, that's true. I'm not sure I would say it that way. That is almost kind of like, you know, just buck up and deal with it. Uncertainty is the way that it is. Get used to it. Which is, on some level, kind of true. But I think just saying that, yeah. So here's the thing. When it comes to uncertainty, a lot of it goes back to that thing of the things that you can change and the things you can't change. And getting to that, let go of the things that you can't change. That is really the key thing, because you don't know what's going to happen there. You know, I don't know what the outcome of November's election is going to be. I don't know what the reaction to the outcome of November's election is going to be. I don't know, you know, whether or not, you know, now is the time to invest in Bitcoin, or, you know, because it's going to go up. I think it probably is as things get more uncertain, but maybe it's not. I'm uncertain about that. But what we can do is we can look at the things that we have the ability to change. I can decide in my mind how much risk I want to take when I'm investing. I can decide that, okay, what the government is doing and what the election results are going to be are things that I can only worry so much about right now. I can take preparations if I feel those are necessary, but if not, then what I need to do is not think about it, because there is nothing good that's coming out of it. I'm not going to think of something new. I mean, I consider myself to be a pretty smart person. You see this big old ridge right here? I'm pretty sure that's like a little bit of extra brain that I got. Okay, not really, but you know what I'm saying. So, but I think of myself as a relatively bright person, and I don't think that this is the kind of thing that can be solved like that. So, just remember that if you can accept one by one, not all at once, but just by one, little things. One thing that's I can't control what that is, what something's going to be, but I can control how I react to it. I can control how I prepare for it, and I can control what my emotions are about it. All right, so this has some resources where it talks about Stoic and Buddhist philosophy. Both emphasize embracing uncertainty as change as the essence of life. I consider my father a Stoic. Many people find reading about these topics helpful, stating the practical wisdom help them shift their mindset and anxiety. And there's a couple of resources on it. So, looks like that's actually probably a YouTube video. Yeah, there's a couple of YouTube videos. You got yourself some audiobooks. Really, Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. Wow. Okay, so we're really doing some, getting back to some old stuff. Darren Brown's Happy, using a 30-day free trial. That kind of bothers me, but okay. Quotes, various quotes. And now this is the thing about Stoicism, is that sometimes it's like, well, thanks, I'm cured. You know, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, and this is basically what I was just saying. But you know, I mean, I suppose if you say, realize this, and you will find strength, perhaps that's helpful. Okay, I'm gonna skip through this now. We'll go down to some more of this later. Okay. So, thought challenging. Thought challenging is a simple yet powerful cognitive behavioral therapy technique for reducing anxiety. No jokes. As mentioned, anxiety is best described as the unhelpful thinking patterns you experience when your mind fixates on threat, uncertainty, and negativity. Thought challenging helps by broadening your focus to include the bigger picture. That was my dog. Below are 2 thought challenging techniques you can experiment. Keep practicing and find one. Keep practicing, discover one that works best for you. Okay. A, B, C, D, E. Attention. When you feel distressed, stop what you're doing and pay attention to your inner dialogue. What is your mind telling you? Believe. Do not automatically believe your thoughts. Wow. Okay. This is good advice in this case, but most of the time, trust yourself. But when it comes to anxiety and that kind of thing, just remember, you can run away. Challenge. Diffuse anxiety by broadening your focus. What is the bigger picture? Is the thought fact or opinion? There we go. There's a key critical one. Okay. Is the thought that you're having something that you know? Okay, like I was talking about earlier. So, do we know that wearing masks, it gives you an immunity, you know, may inoculate you, or will inoculate you? No. Do we believe this? Yes. Is that an opinion still? Yes. So is it something that you can use to help you feel calmer? A little bit. But if we're something that we're like, you know, true facts for sure, it could help you feel a lot calmer, right? So remember. But also by the same token, if there's something like, oh God, toilet plumes, you know, as soon as I go into a public bathroom, you know, there's just going to be, you know, coronavirus that's been spread everywhere by the flushing toilets. And you go, wait, hold on. No. Realistically, that's not how any of that works. That's not what happens there. So, opinion is that everything's infected in a public bathroom. Fact is, no. It's still kind of gross, though. Discount. Acknowledge that anxiety has been or is dominating your thinking, and then let the unhelpful thoughts go. And the last one, E. What would be helpful to focus on right now? What options do I have available? All right, so that's A, B, C, D, E. That's not bad. Okay, so, and then the think technique. True. Is this thought 100% true? If not, what are the facts and what is opinion? I actually think that's a good place to start. Okay, helpful. Is paying attention to the thought useful to me or others? Again, another good way, in my opinion, to look at it. This is much more on the just does it work? Okay, so, oh no, that's, you know, it's not helpful to think about anxieties, really, is what we're talking about. Inspiring. Does the thought inspire me or others, or does it have the opposite effect? Usually the opposite. Hopefully inspiring, though. All right. Hopefully the thing that I read earlier inspired you to wear a mask. Hopefully it inspired you to feel good about the fact that when you were wearing a mask just for taking care of other people, guess what? Bonus, you are taking care of yourself. That's kind of inspiring. Necessary. Is it important for me to focus on the thought? Is it necessary to act on it? Okay, this is good. Okay, this is where you go, okay, is there even any point in me having this thought in the first place? Okay, it's kind of like helpful, but it's kind of like taking it to the next level. Okay, so maybe it's not helpful, but is it something which I need to for safety, whatever it may be? Last one is kind. Is the thought a kind thought? What would be a kinder thought? I like that a lot. I think that's something which is not done often enough, at least by me, and I think it should be done by a lot of people. But yes, so for example, let's see. A kind thought would be, I guess I'm trying to relate this here. So I guess a kind thought would be that well, okay, ask yourself if you're thinking something kind or not, if you're thinking something unkind. So let's go to unkind. Oh, that stupid jerk who's not wearing a mask. They really hate people and they're trying to make my grandmother sick. A kinder thought would be, there's somebody who's more than 6 feet away from me. At least for me. Alright, so there's also a cognitive behavioral therapy thought diary app available on Google Play and iTunes. So that might be a thing to look at a little bit. Reduce anxiety through distraction activities. Oh, yes. Okay. Now, this is something which somebody who I love very, very dearly had me add to my little notebook here. Now, I haven't added a whole lot. Let's see if I've got anything really good under here. No, I don't. But we refer to it as putting your grief to work. And I think that that's an important thing. And this doesn't necessarily mean, and some of this that this is going to be talking about is, do that project you've been thinking about forever. Go ahead, write the great American novel now, under quarantine. And if you can, please do. And if that helps you, oh my God, yes, we need more fantastic, arts and, expressions. So, yeah, don't expect to be doing it. It's not going to be easy. Okay, so. Alright, let's take a look at some of the other things that we might be having here. Alright, so there's mindfulness and meditation resources, work on personal development through journaling, new recipes, plan your meals, work your way through a list of films that have helped people with mental health. That actually sounds like that could be good. That could be fun. Do the 7-day happiness challenge from Action for Happiness. Okay. Watch free online documentaries. Okay, I'm just going to say, when you watch free online documentaries, be careful. Some of these documentaries will make you get more stressed. Okay, so don't do that. Watch comedy. There we go. Play on a trivia or games app. Another good one. Learn some basic yoga poses. We recommend Yoga with Adrienne. Okay, that's a YouTube link, and I've actually been needing some yoga, so I'm going to open that up in a new tab. Not going to do that right now. Learn calligraphy or hand lettering. Okay. Learn how to play a musical instrument. So let's just pause here for a moment. This is any number of things. So calligraphy is great, musical instruments great. Just, one of those things where it doesn't take a whole lot of funds to get into it. And one reason why musical instruments can be kind of on that one. But something where you can just do it whenever you need to, anytime, any place. Calligraphy or hand lettering is not bad. I mean, that's literally, you just need paper and a pen. But things like that, those are actually quite useful. Okay, talk to a volunteer listener. This is Wellness Society. Okay, so they have people that you can talk to, or at least something along those kinds of lines. I'll take a look at that later. Read a biography about someone who inspires you. Oh, that's going to be good, yeah. Do some mindful coloring. Check out our free mindful coloring sheets. Rediscover old music you liked when you were a teenager. Well, that could be fun. I mean, why not? Depends on how old you are. Depends on how good the music was. Depends on how much changed. It's interesting, though. Watch a live stream theater show from the National Theater. There you go. Again, I think British. Make a list of things to save up for. Having a relaxing DIY foot soak. Oh, there you go. Do a free online nutrition course. Start a blog. Download Bumble BFF and chat to new people in your area. Really, is that a thing? Okay. Reorganize or redecorate your living space. Do a jigsaw puzzle. Make a list of goals for the year. Okay, be careful with this one. This is one that can kind of maybe stress you out if you're not careful. Find a new podcast to listen to. I have found so many new podcasts to listen to. Oh my goodness, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this, was because I was like, I want to do a podcast. And, well, I eventually am going to be doing a podcast, but it seemed like live streaming was more important in this time period. So here I am in all of my, oh my god, this is what I look like glory. So, oh, well, thank you, Celeste. I appreciate you sharing this with me. All right, let's see, do a jigsaw puzzle. You know, I'm going to say this. I've got mixed feelings about jigsaw puzzles. If you have pets around, they can be very difficult, particularly if you have cats. And sometimes it feels like, you know, it's just, you know, a kind of mindless thing. But jigsaw puzzles are a couple of things. They actually help you with a lot of visual recognition and help your brain's visual cortex a lot. The other thing about it is that jigsaw puzzles, if you have somebody to do them with, can just be a fantastic way of relaxing and spending some time with somebody you care about, or spending some more time with somebody who you want to care about more. You know, like connecting with a family member that you just haven't had a chance to. So also, there's decluttering here. That's just a fancy way of saying clean your stuff up, update your CV, make a list of books that you want to read this year. Search Pinterest for craft or DIY project ideas. I have a friend of mine who works for Pinterest. I'm sure she'd be happy to see that. Download Reddit and browse uplifting content such as Aw, Human Beings Bros. Okay. Don't need to tell you guys this, because hopefully some of you actually did follow the link and are coming from Reddit, but if you're not, okay, remember, Reddit has a lot of toxic stuff on there. There's a few ways of doing it, okay? Make a multi-Reddit of only good things, okay? Aw, Human Beings Being Bros. I've got a whole list myself. And I literally just have, like, you know, this is just funny stuff, things that makes me happy. I don't want to be browsing through and suddenly, you know, be like, oh, you know, some political figure did this, or, oh, you know, whatever, you know, here's a picture of, you know, my dog that, you know, has cancer, and I, you know, make you really sad. I mean, it depends on what it is. So, let's see. Do a free online drawing class, another good one. Search Facebook for local groups with volunteering opportunities. Aha, that is a very, very good one. Okay, I want to talk about this one more. So, whether it's Facebook or some other means of contact, if you can find volunteering opportunities in your area, this is going to be incredibly helpful, okay? There's a number of scientific studies that talk about how we get this big dose of oxytocin, or very similar, when we help somebody. You know, I mean, I personally feel it, you know, makes me glad. So, and if you can volunteer in any way, then please do. I mean, right now, it's not just a way to meet people and talk to people and get out and do things, and hopefully you can find people who you're volunteering with who are being safe the same way you are. So that's really, really incredibly powerful thing. So I remember Celeste actually mentioned that at one point in time a few weeks ago as one thing that could be done, and I thought that was a very good idea too. Arrange to catch up with someone over video chat. That's actually not a bad idea. That's kind of an extension of the whole, you know, go through your old, you know, contact list and get a hold of the people from Facebook or wherever, that kind of thing that you haven't talked to, and go ahead, you know, talk to them, you know, and either if texting isn't enough, be like, hey, you know, it's been a while, you know, we should talk. What's going on? I can actually think of at least one person who I would like to do that with. So the next one, explore new music. Okay, so a few ways you can explore new music online. Reddit's got some things. Listen to This. Our Listen to This is not bad. A lot of it is just like people going, it's not even people going, this is, the next big thing. It's just like, this was my earworm, or this was something that I was thinking about, or, here it is. And I just want, listen to this. I like that one. There's also a lot of music blogs that are still out there. Music blogs not as good as they used to be, but still, there's still some good stuff kicking around. You can also go on YouTube and look up a number of if you type in music channel on YouTube search, it'll take you to a whole page of it just says music, instead of saying music channel, but you click on that and it's got all the stuff. I'm sure there's other ways of getting to it, but it's so inconsistent across YouTube browsers, so whatever. Do a workout video. So yeah, there's a link to some workout videos. That could be good. That's a good way of doing that fitness, and it doesn't hurt. Brainstorm ways to save more money. Personally, I'm always doing this. For some people, perhaps that is helpful. To me, that sounds like just a way of continuing all the stress and keeping it going, but so be it. Learn furniture building or upcycling. I think that's good. Yep. Make your life experiences list. Oh my god. Why are they selling this? That makes me angry again. Get the Audible, blah, 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 blah. Do a free online coding course. That's not bad. What they got? UK web host review, learn to code for free. Okay, that's probably not a bad site. There's also Free Code Camp, I believe. A couple others that are pretty good. I'd recommend those as well. Build your mental well-being toolkit. Okay, that seems like a whole another thing. Play Jackbox games. Why are we going to... Okay, got specific ones to play games with friends and family online. I will actually check that out. Wouldn't be surprised if they probably got some Cards Against Humanity variations, stuff like that. Join an online book club, start learning a new language, do the 4-week best possible self-exercise, plan some thoughtful birthday or Christmas gifts. Oh, that could be nice, yeah. I actually have some family that's having birthday coming up, and I've been making some gifts for them. I might even drag them out and show them off. Research activities for your elderly relatives. So that's not a bad idea. And this is, one of those things when we're talking about people to make contact with some of those people who maybe the only way you can make contact with them is, via distance. Okay, so start a side project to earn extra money. Hey, hustle culture. But, hey, if it's going to be something that helps you, do it. Do a free online course. There are even some for kids, go figure. Yeah, free online course is always a good idea. Okay, so write a poem or short story. Hey, while you're at it, write, the Great American Novel. But I mean, if you can write something, please, yes, it's always good. Make a cookbook of your favorite recipes. Ooh, this one's good. I like this one. This is one where there's things that things that can bring you comfort. Recipes can bring you a lot of comfort, and you can create, a cookbook of, the very best ones and it's an organization. It's a way of bringing those things together. I think that's a really good one right there, in fact. So make a cookbook of your favorite recipes. I'm going to have to think of that one for later. Make a list of things you're looking forward to when the pandemic is over. Yes, okay, that's nice. That can also be a thing that can sometimes stress you out. So take that one in, measured doses. Become a volunteer listener or chat to one on 7 Cups. 7 Cups is one of these sort of, it's sort of like what I'm doing here. Just talk to people, listen to people. Let's see what happened here. Okay. Let's see. Other things. Watch a live stream gig from this particular place, So Far Sounds, if you like. There's plenty of others, but lots of live stream music that's out there. There's TED Talks. Netflix Party. Now, this is interesting. Not just Netflix, but several of them have... So the streaming services have this thing where you can join your friends online. You can all kind of chat with each other as you're doing that. Home improvement project. Yep, I'm pretty sure there is a subreddit. Uh, okay, so yeah, dashboard, COVID tweets, social distancing, saving voicemails. Yeah, I mean, there's not quite the same thing, but yeah, do some credits or do some activities. Do some gardening. Make a list of topics you're curious about and research them online. Okay, now this one. Has there been a better time to fall down a Wikipedia rabbit hole than now? Okay, seriously, do that. Last night I started listening to. I randomly. I think it was just YouTube going. I don't even think it was on my account. I think I had been. I think I wasn't even signed in, and it ends up recommending to me a cover by the Windows smashing job creators of 100 Gex song Stupid Horse. Now, none of these mean anything to me. I have no idea who 100 Gex is, Windows smashing job creators, and I've never heard of the song Stupid Horse. But I listened to it, and it was interesting enough that I went and I listened to 100 Gex a bit. That's interesting, at least. A little bit kind of punk, but it's cool. And then I went in the other direction, and I listened to Windows smashing job creators, and went down that rabbit hole. And then I found a guy who'd been recording these people, like just a bunch of, I think it's called Punk with a Camera, a guy who's recording people in their living room, and then I like all these other bands, and next thing I know, I'm like, I'm watching some Zoomer Doomers do sing about vampires, So I mean, and it's great, absolutely do that kind of thing. Research, fall down rabbit holes. Do a spring clean, all right? Search Pinterest for a couple of things: family bonding ideas, indoor kids activities, learn knitting, cross stitch, or embroidery, find a new board game to play. That's always a good one. If you can buy local, preferably, but do exercise song videos. Okay, so this is one where it's kind of like aerobics with your kids. I guess it's a more thing. Okay, virtual pub quiz, dream journal. There's a whole lot of stuff here. Okay, all right, we're almost done. Okay. So, do some baking. Find a pen pal. Take a free online course. Camp in your backyard. Actually, I think this is a good idea. Definitely if you've got the space, even if it's just a little yard, do that, because especially if you got kids, do anything to make it interesting. And then you've got the free tools library. So there's a lot of distractions, okay? And hey, look, there's a whole giant page to show that. All right. So I'm going to take a look at this real quick. All right, so I've been at this for about an hour now. Let's see what the metrics are like. I'm not really expecting that there is anybody who has been watching this or joining in and what's going on here. I have at least one extra person viewing. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so let's see here. I am looking for, let's go over to this again. All right, so it's about motivation and becoming more motivated. This thing really does like to quote the old Greek philosophers. What assistance can we find in the fight against habit? Try the opposite. I really feel like there's a certain thanks I'm cured to this book at times. I know that we're talking positive. Yay, it's going to work, So starting a planning practice. So maintaining a structure. Okay, good, not bad. Notes for that. Create a planner. Create a daily planner. Okay. Gratitude practice, not bad. Okay. Enjoy the little things, for one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. Ah, that's a nice quote. I like that one. Research shows that cultivating gratitude has a plethora of benefits, including reducing stress and anxiety, boosting mood, strengthening your immune system, and improving sleep. A simple way to cultivate gratitude is to keep a gratitude log. Each time, at a set time in your daily routine, write down one thing you're grateful for on the sheet. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to practice this right now. One thing I am grateful for today. Well, I am grateful that today was... I'm grateful that today was essentially my Friday, that I have a couple days off after this. I am grateful that I managed to get some a little bit of project done. I'll in fact be right back. I'm going to go grab the pen that I made. Huh. Okay, never mind. There we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Alright, so let's switch this over so I'm a little more visible here. Leave it like this for a minute. Okay. There we go. One more. There we go. Alright. So, today's project is dies and dies. Okay, so this, hold it against my bald head so you can see the shape a little bit better, right? Okay. This is a hairpin. Goes along with this. Slots through like that. And there we go. And that was the one that I made today. So I made some other stuff. I made some hooks today. You know, fun little stuff like that. Had a little of extra time. So I had gratitude for the very nice couple that came through today. They came by completely at the wrong time and asked when I would be, making things, and I said, oh, it'll be in about 15 minutes, and they came back, and they were just some nice people, and I appreciated the political things that the woman had on her shirt that she was supporting. So I went ahead and I put a little bit of extra effort into it. Appreciated them. They were nice folks. Anyway, so yeah, that's my gratitude for the day. All right, let's go ahead. I'm not going to make myself quite as tiny as I was before. Okay, so. Alright, so following sheet for gratitude stuff. Ooh, it's a gratitude log, and it's all in a radial pattern. Okay, I'm not trying to make fun of it. It's fine. I'm glad they're doing it. It's funky. Okay. Start a daily breathing practice. Okay, you know what? This is something which is really good for all sorts of folks. Breathing, including me. Breathing difficulties are associated with auto-stress. Okay, auto-stress. We didn't slow down and read that part earlier, but you can probably surmise what auto-stress is. Auto-stress is when your body is doing all of these things and you're like, I'm not tense, and yet you are, and you don't know why, and you don't know where it's coming from, and then you kind of have that moment where you're like, oh, right, you take stock, you're like, oh, right, okay, I got all this stuff going on, okay? So when you have problems with your breathing, you lower the amount of carbon dioxide that is normally in your blood. This will lead to a wide range of symptoms, including shortness of breath. Okay, but yeah, seriously, that can be one of the things. You can worry yourself into feeling like you have COVID. Shortness of breath, chest tightness, tingling or numbness in the limbs, fingers, toes, and around the mouth, feeling dizzy and lightheaded, weakness. Wow, I mean, that actually sounds an awful lot like anxiety. It also sounds an awful lot like some of the symptoms of COVID. So, wow, maybe one of the things is to go ahead and work on the breathing practice, because that's a way of reducing one of the things that can be causing a problem. So, other things that can cause is heart pounding and racing, heart palpitations, sweating or hot flushes, headaches, feeling sick, and fatigue. And they can just appear out of the blue. You can also end up with a panic attack. And breathing difficulties can be related to any number of things. You may be shallow breathing. I think I do that a bit. Over breathing, breathing in more air as though you feel like you're getting enough. Yawning or sighing frequently. Alright, so you can do some things to test your breathing. There's a whole set of things here. Also, belly breathing helps a lot. Okay, breathe from deep down in here, not up here. Use those muscles to breathe with. And that makes a really big difference in how deep your breaths are, and can help you calm down. Take those deep breaths, because, I mean, as much as we say, somebody says, don't panic, take a deep breath. There's actually times when, if it's not in that moment, where taking a deep breath can actually help. Okay. So we're talking about how to improve quality of social connections during a period of isolation. Now, I think the first one I want to go back to that was in the previous list, it'll probably going to be brought up here again, and that is find some way to volunteer. Okay, find some way to go ahead, and because volunteering, even if coronavirus isn't going on, it's a great way to meet people. You're going to meet people who have made the same decision as you, that this is something that's important enough that they're going to give their time of it. You already have something in common with these people to be friends with them about. It's awesome. Okay, so, and it's not just like, oh, I just kind of felt like going out to this bar tonight, you know? No, very much bigger, much bigger. Let's see if I've screwed. Nope. Okay, all right. So, use the online support resources listed in page 7 of the Social Connection Planner. I feel like I'm going to have to take a look at the Social Connection Planner at some point here. They've got a whole nother PDF for that. Improve your communication skills. Talk to volunteer listeners on a helpline. Use this time as an opportunity to complete the relationship inventory exercise. Wow. Okay. So that does seem like a thing where you're going to be seeing how... Oh, probably also if there are healthy relationships in your life or not. Schedule video chat catch-up with friends you haven't spoken to in a while. We already did that one. Use a video chat app House Party to play popular games like trivia and heads up with friends. Okay. I'm realizing now that a lot of this is not promoting individual businesses and that kind of thing. It's literally like, this is something we found that works. There are plenty of others, I'm sure, that do the same. Have a virtual happy hour over video chat. In other words, have a drink with your friends over video chat, and if that's what you need to do, then do it. More power to you. Browse meetup.com for events that have been transferred to online. Oh, now that's interesting. I had not thought of that. That's a good call. Again, this is a lot like the volunteering. It's finding events that are for things you're passionate about and doing them online instead. Use the Netflix Party extension. Again, already done. Send letters to your loved ones with a service like Postable. Okay, you can also just mail a letter. Play Scrabble and chat to friends using Word with Friends app. There is a whole list of video chat options. Okay, regular exercise routine. Now this is good stuff again. If you could do 21 minutes 3 times a week, if you could start doing 21 minutes 3 times a week now, then you're going to be in good shape for the rest of your life. Okay, so various things. Daily walk, do a YouTube workout. There's some company that has free at-home workouts. There's yoga with Adrian, 5-week stretch and flexibility plan from the NHS. This is so clearly British. NHS is the National Health Service in England. Set yourself on a challenge to run 5 kilometers with the support of the Couch to 5K running plan for beginners. Invest in some indoor exercise equipment. I'm going to actually kind of say pause on investing in the indoor exercise equipment. Start with doing the routines and doing the stuff, and then if you feel like, God, this would be so much better, like, I mean, if like you've done it for like 2 weeks and you're sitting there in the middle of it and you're going like, this would be so much cooler if I, had workout equipment, then get some. But otherwise, seriously, don't just buy exercise equipment and think that buying exercise equipment is going to make you exercise, because it's not. All right, so next, do 10-minute home cardio workout. Again, the National Health Service, England. Find an outdoor gym to visit. Now this is actually not a bad plan. I'm still not 100% certain that this is going to be the safest thing for everybody. I'm not sure how I would personally feel about it in a lot of circumstances, but depending on the outdoor gym, could be quite good. Browse Pinterest again. So I think one of the things that this is saying over and over again is browse Pinterest. For indoor workouts, do an affordable at-home cardio workout with a jump rope. Yes, okay. That is exercise equipment which you should definitely, if you can, definitely get a jump rope, okay? Make a jump rope, okay? Whatever you need to do, get a jump rope. Invest in a Fitbit to track your progress. Right now, sure, maybe, okay, but I don't know if a Fitbit is going to be telling you, man, you need to be walking more. And you're going to be looking at the thing like, man, I would like to be walking more, but coronavirus. So depending on your situation, that may or may not be a good idea. All right. Stress resilience plan. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is the things you're doing that will help. And when will you do it? Okay. Further resources, good. Online course coping during the pandemic. Meditation resources, coronavirus anxiety. Oh, good. I'm actually going to read a bunch more of these. Face COVID, how to respond to anxiety. Oh, okay. Effectively during the coronavirus stress. Free guide to living with worry, anxiety, and global uncertainty from Psychology Tools. The framework are deeper dive into understanding, transforming, and reducing stress, auto stress, and anxiety. The mental well-being toolkit, and online guide to accessing therapy. And that's English again, but still. Okay, and then they just want to see, okay. And the JAMA International. All right. So, that actually has a lot of really useful stuff. So, if you need to be able to find that, all right, I am going to post this link in the chat right now. Let me find the chat. There we go. Okay, so that is the link for this workbook. I think it's actually probably pretty good. Quite a bit of good stuff in there. All right. So let's switch back over. It's not doing anything right now. Okay. All right. Let's go back to where is the one that I was looking for? There it is. All right, so let's go to the coronavirus support subreddit. That's where we started going down this rabbit hole. That was definitely a good anxiety workbook. My roommate's habits are making me anxious. I'm going to click on this one because this reminds me of the story I was telling you about earlier about my friend who had to do laundry. College student living in a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 other roommates, taking it seriously to different extents. The one who you share a room with is the worst. For who you have the most. Let's see. Okay, so this is where she has a roommate who is basically still going and visiting their partner, and going and hooking up with their partner. So this is one of those things where, where you really have got a couple options. Either A, you do something about your living situation, which is really rough and hard to do, and it's easy to say, don't like it, just move. And it's not that easy. Moving is freaking rough and expensive and a million other things. If you can't do that, then talk to the roommates and be like, look, I really need to take this serious. And alright, so let's see. Asking about masks at the office. No one wears masks, and that is hard to deal with. And it's in New York City, and as it turns out, if you are in New York, you can report wow, okay, I actually want to show you this because this is kind of nice. Alright, so I'm just going to make me disappear here for a second. Social distancing or face covering complaint. This is literally a way where you can complain to the city, state, whatever, of New York that somebody was not doing this stuff when they should be. Yes, it's a little narking page, and you can go be a narc about stuff here, but honestly, this is kind of an important thing. I kind of really, really wish that there was one of these, something like this, for here in Florida. But I don't think there's gonna be. Alright. Let's go back to this one here. Okay. Moving. No one wearing masks when they're moving. That's always rough. Young 20s. Feeling hopeless to my situation. My changed life. Advice appreciated. Alright. Let's see where this one's at. Right before the pandemic, I cut off friends, lost relationships with people as I was growing into my own. I was tied into friendships with these people through bad, detrimental habits like drugs. Then the pandemic hits. I'm young, early mid-20s. I want to live. I want to be free. None of this can happen. I'm literally a good amount of the time. I can cope well. Generally, some days it hits me. I gain deep situational depression. I realize I could be doing so much more. Things feel hopeless, and I notice this pandemic goes on. I'm only getting worse. So, they do exercise, they're sober, and overall they're doing better. They developed skills and growth during the pandemic. But, alright, here we go. Can't be a Buddhist monk forever. Would love some socializing, friends, etc. And now's not the time. There's no place to make friends. Feels like their life is just disintegrating, going away. And their planned life that they had is not happening. So, one piece of advice is using a chance to reconnect with yourself. Another person is just saying, hey, you know what, regardless of pandemic, the fact that you're doing this is really awesome. More of that here. Celebrate what you're doing. And this is really one of the things, is it can be hard to see the positive things that you've done and the positive things that you're doing in the midst of all this mess. So you're going to need to spend some time giving yourself a chance. All right. This looks interesting. Just keep going day by day. It's kind of how I feel sometimes. Pandemic is exhausting, but the lockdowns and social distancing measures will not last forever. In the meantime, take this time to focus on your mental health, learn a skill, or check in with family and friends more often via FaceTime or Zoom. If you feel lonely or are by yourself, how did I lose that? Okay. Know that you aren't alone. There are many people struggling right now. Many people in the same boat will figure this all out together. And then just saying, if you want to comment below. So, someone who's lost their grandmother. That's horrendous. It's hard to know where we're at with the information that's out there. So, this is an interesting one. This is an hour ago. I try to keep touch with friends, but lately everyone I message leaves me unread. I belong to a website for making friends online already, and everyone ignores my messages there too. I feel like people don't like me anymore, and I can't do this alone. So, a couple of things might be going on here. I'm just going to first of all say just the harsh thing, and that is, maybe right now you're in a situation where the vibe that you're sending out is one of just exhaustion, desperation, that kind of thing. I have a couple of friends who I like, who I'm good friends with, but right now when I see them wander up to me, I know that they're just going to tell me like, oh, I just feel off today, I don't know what's going on, or oh hey, do you got a hammer I can hit somebody with, or what, and it's like, I understand you're stressed out, I understand what's going on, but and I understand you need somebody to talk to, but occasionally it's just hard to talk to people sometimes, and other people are feeling that way. So don't feel like you're the problem, okay? Understand that, understand that this is a time where as much as I have been having the instinct to go out and make friends with people, there's also the instinct to just kind of shut down, to be quiet, to not make a big deal out of things, I can deal with it, it'll be fine, just ignore it and eventually be okay, right? Well, I hope so. So this was posted by Lily B. I'm glad that she posted. I'm assuming Lily B identifies as a she. Actually giving out some very helpful advice, or some very helpful just support. I'm going to actually give her an update here in a bit. Okay. Let's see. Oh, now this is another interesting one. Oh, this one has a lot of comments on it. I'm curious to see where this one went. This is a day old now, which is probably why it has so many comments. COVID has been causing a huge restraint on my relationship. No one understands what I'm going through, so coming to this subreddit. International long-distance relationship. Okay, so, alright. Now they're living together. She takes it seriously. He does not so much. Okay, yeah, she's suggesting that he spends 2 weeks in isolation before he does things. So, I mean, I kind of understand this. I've been wanting to go out and visit some friends of ours, but, really can't because, some of them are just not really following social distancing at all well, One of them is somebody who's a healthcare professional, and I really wish they would be safer, because I want to be there for them. Okay, so this is international. One person just tells this person to go home. One says your boyfriend should be more concerned. Asthma is not considered a risk factor for COVID. That's interesting. I did not know that. I thought it was. But according to a paper from... I'm not sure if I trust this source. I'll take a little closer look at it here. Okay, and this is coming from... Okay, so this is English, I guess, because it's talking about an NHS study. Okay, so that's a giant study. I'm not going to look at that right now, but apparently it says that asthma... Okay, oh, and then down here says that CDC hasn't officially cleared asthma as a risk factor. So, okay. So, could be worse, could be better. Again, move... Talk about what kind of sacrifices each of you give up for the relationship. I think that's actually probably the best one right there. This is not about COVID. This is not about any one specific thing. It's about our respect for each other as people and what we'll do for that other person because we respect them. And if he respects this person enough, then whether he believes the coronavirus is real or not, he's going to respect their wishes. Okay, there's some very good advice going on here, kind of relationship stuff. I'm glad that the original poster is definitely following up and learning from this, so that's nice. Okay, so let's see. There's a few people in here who are having problems. There's pretty severe. See, avoiding dating apps. Not sure what she's asking about. Yeah, I think really it's just dating apps kind of suck, and I think they're chalking it up to COVID, but it's not. They just kind of suck. Alright. Let's see. Here's questions about asymptomatic patients. They're not getting that much. So let's see. There are heart issues in asymptomatic patients, but nothing long-term per se. Yeah, so heart and lung issues some, but nothing major. Alright. Oh, anxiety over mask being not properly fitted. I will tell you what I feel about masks. Alright, this is my opinion. A mask that hangs off of these things, see these things, these flop. Okay, that doesn't feel secure to me. Okay, this thing, that feels pretty secure, right? Okay, so I'm going to take a mask that doesn't hook on my ears. I'm going to take the mask that ties around my head. That's number one. Number two, All right. If you can have a mask that gathers, okay, that closes up that space without it being like leaving a big gap, okay. If it gathers so that it goes to the right shape on your face, that also helps a lot, okay. Another thing, if it has a nose piece, all right, metal nose piece, whatever it is in there, that you can adjust it so that it gets a good tight fit up here. That's another good thing. I really feel like this nose piece is probably the most important part overall for two reasons. One, I personally hate the feeling, well, three. One, I feel like that's where a lot of the, you've got air that's now going past your eyeballs, and, stuff gets in your eyeballs, and that's another way to get sick. Excuse me. Number two, I hate breathing through this part right here. It just feels weird. And number three, if you're wearing glasses and you've got the nose piece, your glasses don't fog up. So, but let's see what they have to say about the masks. They've got an N95, but they're a little large. I'm going to say this. N95s, good masks. If you're going to wear an N95, though, I would actually recommend wear a cloth face covering over it. So it's going to work. Okay, so not a perfect seal by any means. Surgical masks are decent. I really prefer cloth masks. The straps go over the head. Yes, that's the way you should do it. Oh, an N95 technically needs to be professionally fitted. Interesting. Okay. That's probably something to look up. If you do have an N95, look up the proper way to fit it if you can. Oh, God. This one sucks. So, this is from yesterday. I came home from college and went on a Labor Day trip to a lake house with my family, grandparents, and cousins included. I had a slight tickle in my lungs and consulted my mom before going, and she said just come anyway. And it was partly just allergies. I went up for the day on Saturday, stayed a night, left the next day. Sunday, I found out that I'd been exposed earlier in the week, meaning I most likely had it. Tested on Tuesday, got positive test results on Thursday. That's a fast test. That's good. That's a useful test. Mom tested positive on Tuesday today. Grandparents are waiting for their results. The anxiety and guilt I'm feeling right now are unbearable. I don't know how to cope. Someone please help. I feel so alone and helpless. No one has underlying health issues other than my dad having some anxiety and allergy-induced asthma. I'm still worried I can't hardly think about anything, let alone get schoolwork done. Well, that's rough. Be gentle with yourself. Your mom asked you for her opinion, and she gave it. You asked your mom for her opinion, and she gave it. No matter what, you can't go back and change it. It's bad that's happened, but the best thing to do is to move forward. This is some very good advice. Try not to dwell on what ifs. Stay hydrated and eat healthy. Okay, yeah, that's good stuff too. And ask for a few days off from your professors. Remember, COVID is not a death sentence. And remember that really a lot of this is that catastrophic thinking. The worst thing is going to happen. That's what it is. Doesn't have to be that way. Also, there's plenty of things that can make it so that it's just not the worst. And just kind of keep in mind that you can go with your best gut instinct, and it can still be the wrong thing. But you were trying your best, and that's what you need to remember. Okay, so let's see about this one. I found this one amusing. I haven't even looked at this one yet, but I found the title amusing. 2021 is canceled yet, or 21 is canceled, right? So Dr. Fauci is saying that. Oh, right. No, this I was looking at this. So the vaccine may come out here, but it's going to be a year before it gets everyone's vaccinated. So somebody postponed their wedding. Smart thing to do. Place where I work, people are getting married on a daily basis right now, at least on the weekends. So there will be restrictions going on. And really what this amounts to, really what this amounts to is the thing that I was talking a little bit about yesterday, where we need to find, we need to understand, we need to understand that this is what the situation is now. This is what it's going to be like for a while, and we need to find ways of making this, making it, something that we can get through. That's the whole, this whole thing with the support resources and the coronavirus anxiety workbook, and just getting it together, because so there's a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things that we can do to just kind of keep our lives together in this time, to try and learn how to cope with the stress. And remember that we don't know when this time is going to end, but that is okay, all right? When you start a job, you do not know when the job is going to end, If it's a bad job, you're probably hoping it's going to end soon, but you don't know when it's going to. If it's a good job, you're probably not even thinking about that, but it's still the same circumstance. You just don't know. So try not to think about the things that are outside of your control as much as you can. It'll kind of send you into kind of a spin. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Anxiety about possibility of giving mother coronavirus. This is another one of those things where, so here's the thing. Remember catastrophic thinking, okay? One contact with the outside world is not going to make everyone in your bubble sick. It could, but it's probably not going to. So remember that it is all about, managing risk. Okay, on that note, I'm going to see if I can pull up one more thing. I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, but I'm going to be listening to this later, and I want to share it with you. Okay. Didn't quite spell that right, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put up is there a way that I can, so I found it. So it's an Ezra Klein show. It's how to think about coronavirus risk in your life. A Harvard epidemiologist offers a framework for making key life decisions while also managing pandemic risk. All right, I'm just going to copy this one right here. And I'm going to put it into the chat again. Put another link in the chat here. There we go. All right. And I think this is important. You know, what kind of things are you doing? Right now, a lot of us are working on an all or nothing strategy, which can be comforting, but is not realistic to be doing for the next whole year. I'm not saying abandon your quarantine. I'm just saying figure out what is reasonable risk for you. All right. So, anything else we got here? Yes. So here's somebody who's living in Texas, feeling like they're being gaslighted by everyone. I don't know. I agree. I feel like I'm being gaslighted by my governor. I feel like I'm being gaslighted by, yeah. I feel like I'm being gaslighted by the federal government and hiding the numbers. Um, and this, she has a coworker here, and I've had a coworker say basically the same thing, where I party all the time and I'm still alive, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can take those risks all the time, but it's still not a good idea. Um, I'm going to go back to just briefly, and I think I'm going to wrap up real quick here in a minute. But I'm going to go back briefly to the analogy that I was using last night for all of this. And that is that going out right now is kind of like jaywalking, okay? Jaywalking is dangerous. It is not inherently incredibly dangerous overall. You can go outside, and if you don't come into contact with people, that's not that dangerous. Going to a public place, a little more dangerous. And like with jaywalking, okay, you've got your options. You can run right out into a very busy intersection, or you can very carefully cross at a place where there's very low traffic. Pretty straightforward. Same thing here. Just figure out how you're going to manage your risk. Figure out what is reasonable for you. Let's see. The last thing I want to say is this person right here who I have... Oh, wow, nobody's commented to this person. Okay, well, I'm going to comment to Soundwave145 right now. On unemployment, inside taking care of family, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I've gone on a few walks at night. Mask on, I see so many people not wearing masks. I feel as if COVID was just a dream sometimes. Yeah. It's hard to even have that sense of like connection, walking around outside at night and all that, and anytime, and so feels so different. All right. Now, this is one of the things. So, you see somebody who's not wearing a mask, and you ask them to wear a mask, and they get right in your face, yelling, screaming, spitting at you, whether they're meant to or not. Well, just remember this, that choose your battles. There's sometimes when you're going to want to fight that battle, and there's times when you're going to want to just need to let it go. All right. I have been fighting a lot of these battles, and I have been occasionally causing myself problems. Like I say, not the best thing. All right. Thank you for everybody who either is here now or comes and watches this later. I hope that some of this was helpful to you. Whoever you may be that is watching and just kind of listening, you know what? Glad you're here. All right. You folks take care, and yeah. Be well. All right.